Hey everyone, I just wanted to show you all how I quickly edit my backdrops. My white backdrops with full body portraits and include the shadows at the same time. So this is something quick and pretty easy. This is in Lightroom, and we're going to transfer this over to Photoshop, and then we're going to edit from there. Okay. All right. So I'm using a Mac computer, and I use a keyboard shortcut to transfer it over to Photoshop using Command E, and that'll automatically transfer it to Photoshop. But for anybody who doesn't have Mac or or if it takes you a long time to remember keyboard shortcuts like it did for me, then you could just go ahead and right click on the photo, scroll down to where you said edit in, and then click on edit in Adobe. Mine is 2021. Go Adobe, you're awesome. And it's gonna open up in Photoshop right there. Awesome. Okay, so let's do a quick assessment of what we have to fix here for the backdrop. I have this little piece of my softbox right here and a little bit of the edge of the background. I want to fix that right there. That's as far as that goes. Okay, so for the first part, what I want to do is I want to fix this little part right here. Okay, so two ways to do it. The first one is to grab the selection tool and just select around wherever you want to fix. Okay, and then you go into edit, go down to content aware scale, click on it, and then just click on the top node right here in the middle and drag it up. And keep going until that's gone. Boom, right there, all that is gone. That's one way. Deselect that, and to clean it up a little bit, I'll grab my clone stamp tool, make sure it's set on current layer. Flow is 5%, that's pretty decent. 100 isn't too bad either, but 5% is, make sure that you're not overdoing the fixing. Okay, that's one way of getting that done. I'm going to show you the other way. So it's going to delete that layer real quick and create another layer. Command J will duplicate the layer and grab the selection tool again. So both of these methods involve the selection tool. Okay, so grab the selection tool, select around that area that we want to fix again, and then go up to edit. Sorry, I don't have my tabs showing in the video here, but hopefully you pick up on what I'm doing. Go to edit and then click on content aware fill. Okay, there we go. And you see this little rendering right here? It's going to show you a quick little render of what's actually going to happen, and it already did it. So it just pretty much grabbed some information from here and filled it into the selection that we just made. Okay, and we could actually do a second one. So I also want to fix this little corner right here. So I'm just going to grab the selection tool from the corner. I don't want to grab her foot, so I got to be careful moving around that. Okay, I'll take it maybe about to right here. Drag that back down. Good, we got that selection. And we don't need all of that showing up, trying to fill things in. So let's go ahead and just delete. That's way too much info for this thing to try and process to help me fix my issue. Should be enough information for it to process and fix. It's grabbing her shoe, which it's not supposed to. There we go, it fixed it. Awesome, good job, good job. Okay, great. And now we go click OK. Usually it creates two layers, but this time it made only one. That's fine. We're gonna click that first layer right here with all the fixes, see? So when you do that, when you go to edit and you click content aware fill, and then you apply it, it actually creates a separate layer, and this is the layer with all the fixes. It did a pretty decent job, but right here is not the best work. Yeah, but I'm not gonna worry too much into that part for the next thing I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna click where this layer is highlighted, is selected, excuse me. I'm gonna click on the layer right below it, select. So I hit, for that to happen, I hold shift, and this you could do on both Mac and PC. Hold shift and then click another layer, and then command or control click E, and that will merge the two layers together. Okay, you could also right click and choose merge down or merge visible. Okay, all right, so now for the step of making the background pure white while also retaining these shadows. See, I like my shadows, and majority of the times when before, the methods I used to do before was like select the subject and then just put a fill layer right below it and then try to mask out the shadows, manually. This method I'm going to show you is it's a few steps extra, but it's worth it. Okay, so but it's very easy. Okay, so I'm gonna click this button right here. So while I'm on this quick select wand right here, I'm gonna click and make sure you're on that layer, not the back. Don't do the background, because you gotta have a reference to go back if in case you ever made a mistake. So click on this layer right here, click select subject, and Adobe's algorithm will try its best to figure out the subject from everything else. And if it doesn't do the best job, you just go ahead and try to adjust it. Okay, just like that. And that did a pretty good job. What I do want to take it a little step further, because I see some parts of it is not filled in very well right here, and some parts right here. So I'm going to click on the button Q. Okay, and I'm just going to go in and manually fill in using the brush tool B, and 100% opacity, 100% flow. And since I want to hide the areas of the backdrop, I'm gonna click and I'm gonna make sure that the black is showing. So black hides, white reveals. Okay, I don't want this brush too soft, so I'm gonna drop down the hardness a little bit, maybe to like, let's try 50%. Oop, it's not supposed to do that. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're gonna just pretend that I am not a perfectionist. No more nitpicking. All right, so we're done. We're gonna click Q again, and it's gonna show the selection one more time, and then we're gonna go click W to get back to the wands, and then from there we click on select and mask. And select and mask, for me, it kind of like softens up the edge a little bit, And one thing I also like to do in this version of Photoshop, right here where it says refine hair, like before I was able to do this by hand, and let me show you real quick what I actually would do by hand for the refine hair portion. I will make my brush a little bit larger and then click inside the hair first, and then just go along the edges of the hair area, and that is refining the hair, and this is doing it manually. Adobe now has an algorithm to do it for you. Okay, so that's how you do it manually. So click refine here, and see everything I just did by hand, it did it all by itself. Okay, so my settings in here actually makes the edges a little bit softer for me, gives it a little bit of a feather. So if in case you want to copy my my settings, this is the ones I use in here. Okay, just in case. And I use this for all my photos. I don't change them, I just leave them right there. See right there where it says remember settings, I don't change it. It's been that way for quite some time, and if it's always worked for me. Okay, all right, so now that's done, I'm gonna hit command or control for PC, command for Mac, and click on that, and then click on the regular photo right here, and then we're going to hit command J, and it's going to cut out Shanice out of this photo right here. Okay, and we're going to click right here, and I'm going to delete this layer mask because I no longer need it. Okay, so we have Shanice selected out here. Okay, and I'm also going to do one more thing. I'm going to switch here to a pure white background, white color, and click on the background, and then I'm going to go down here to my layer styles or blended modes. I can't remember what these things are called. I'm going to go here and click solid color. Okay, great. Now we got a solid color behind everything that's going on, but you can't see it as yet. See, can't see it as yet, but I'm going to show you soon. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Okay, so first, this layer right here, we're going to turn it, and we're going to saturate it or desaturate it. So hit and hide this layer, because right now that was hiding everything. Okay, so we're just working on this layer right here, and now we're gonna invert that layer. Oh wait, before you do that, right click and go to convert to smart object. So we click convert to smart object. Good. All right, now we're gonna hit command or control for PC I and flip that inside out. Good, awesome. All right, if you've been keeping up with me so far, you've been doing great. Just hang on there. This will all be worthwhile a little bit. We're gonna go into image and then go down to adjustments. Okay, so you're gonna click levels, and what you're gonna do with this now, you want since this photo is inverted, we're gonna try and make all this dark area right here like super dark, like dark. And I just want to reduce the brightness of this layer right here just a little bit more. So I'm gonna just bring that back. Actually, it's probably not even gonna be so punchy, so let's bring it up a little bit. I think will be okay if we bring it up a little bit. All right, so right there should be fine. Click OK. And just in case if you ever need to go back in there and readjust, that's right there for you. Okay, now we'll click command I again to re-invert that image. All right, now this is the fun part. Okay, so we're not really worrying about how the photo looks right here, because we already got a cutout of the colors up here. Okay, so now right here on this layer that's black and white, we're gonna click on the blend modes, and we're gonna go down to multiply. And when we hit multiply now, the background, that layer in the background, and I'll show you, it's gonna make some sense. Okay, so there we go. We changed it to pure white background, and we kept the original shadows. Okay, so I was a little bit wrong right here. The shadows are a little too harsh, so I'm gonna go back into my black and white layer, double click on the layers. Don't worry about this. If it ever pops up for you, click OK and just continue. Okay, it's gonna invert again, but that's no problem. That's for its sake. So we're gonna, this middle part right here, you're gonna drag it down, and you're gonna see that little white area right here. These are all the shadows, and the natural shadows that occur when you take the picture. I just wanted to reduce just a little bit, not to be so harsh. Okay, and we click OK, and you see the shadows are still there. They're just a lot softer. Okay, and if that's too soft for you, you could always just go back in, probably just change that setting so it could, not pop up every time. You go back in, readjust it, boom, that shadow is back, and it looks nice and clean photo, nice and clean backdrop, and this is a good starting point for you to work with. Okay, and just in case if you ever wanted to change the color of your background, for instance, you have this as a great basis to go with already. So all you do, double click right here, and I'll say maybe you don't want to go too crazy with the colors. Like for instance, you could do like a dark color, but what I would recommend personally is probably like putting like a white, like a lighter vignette behind her, like kind of like a spotlight behind your subject. So, because you see right here, it got these little halos around the image. You could fix that, and it's going to take a little bit longer to fix it, and I could definitely do a tutorial to show you how to fix it. But for now, if you want to start with something decent that's not as harsh, I'll say go into a lighter color like that. That way you don't see the halos as much. Okay, you don't see the halos as much. And you see right here, this part right here is a little fringy on the edges. That's only because we didn't take as much time to fix up the edges as best as we could. But for the sake of this tutorial, I said, yeah, we're gonna move through this so that you guys can get a general idea of how to do this. Okay, so yeah, we got the shadow right here. Shadows popping in nice and strong. Okay, and if we move this around, we could change the colors of the backdrop. So yes, this is a quick way of changing the background color or fixing a white backdrop to pure white. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed it, and hope to see you soon with more tutorials. Enjoy. Ciao.